Hey everyone, this is Dan with the Spiritual Underground Podcast, coming to you from my little wood shop in my backyard here in New Albany, Indiana. Get the commercials out of the way. Got any handyman woodworking jobs, any projects need to be done, you can contact me at 502-292-7444. Darren Frank, thank him for the music that's around the podcast. And 12-Step Spiritual Recovery is a book by James Christopher Cohn. It is the 12 steps geared for anyone, not just the people with the isms. You've heard, if you listen this much, you'll heard me say it. I think it seems to be hitting now after going into the third year of the program. It seems to be really hitting a few niches. One of them is people who are already in 12 steps that want just a different view at the steps, maybe and go a little deeper. People who don't fit in a traditional 12-step program, which generally people think of 12 steps being connected with substance abuse and chemical dependency. And the steps can help you even if you're not struggling with those things. And then the third one is I've run into a couple people lately who just said, AA didn't work for them. They just couldn't get with it for whatever reason. Well, this is a back door into the same work that you do that has set millions of people free. So 12-Step Spiritual Recovery by James Christopher Cohn. And just in case this is the first time you bopped along this podcast and run into it, we are primarily a 12-step based recovery podcast. I do define recovery rather broadly. We recover from all kinds of things in life. My guest today is got at least the second piece of recovery in his story here, and that's probably a lot of what we'll talk about. But we can recover from divorce, we can recover from trauma, we can recover from substance abuse. So I explore those things and how people do it, because when our stories get told, it allows other people to believe that can happen for them too. And it's the traditional way that we passed along this 12-step recovery thing, with people telling their stories. And I've picked up my little piece of the ball and trying to carry it through this medium. And just really, it's a unique way I get to participate in my recovery. I get to know my friends better. I get to meet new people, and hopefully you feel the same. So today, my guest is back for a second visit. Mark E. I first knew him as Army Mark. When I first started hearing his name around the rooms that I was going to in here in New Albany, Indiana, I didn't know him. The people were making announcements of how he was, because he was out of the country. Serving our country, and all that, and finally I ended up getting to know him. And he came in we looked at it a minute ago, it was April of 2019, and just recently this year, just actually this month, it's still August, Mark celebrated 15 years. But since his last trip here, and he's had at least one major event, and maybe more, but one major event in his life. And and when I was saying earlier about recovering from things, it almost seems like to some extent life is about getting knocked down and getting back up, and getting knocked down and getting back up. There's a few, I hear rumored that there's a few people that seem to escape that cycle, but I don't know too many of them. It's like it seems our journey is to take on difficult things and overcome them, and then, like, to complete the circle, it's helping other people get through what you've been through. So that is, these 12 steps is, Bill calls it a design for living that works. And once you've got the alcohol and the dope behind you, if that's your problem, alcohol and or both, then we got to do this thing called life. And these 12 steps keep on working for me as I implement these tools, the principles, and the fellowship around me in order to carry through some tough stuff. I've had a few times been knocked down since I've been in recovery, and the fellowship and these tools have worked for me to stay on the higher ground and be useful to the people in my life while we're going through tough stuff. So Mark's story's here for part 2 today. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well, Dan. Thank you, sir.
It was your sobriety date was the 8th?
No, actually, the 16th was
16th.
mine. Yeah, the 16th was my sobriety date.
I remember I keep people's stuff in my...
I think you did.
Yep.
Yeah,
I got it right.
Yeah, 16th. But we
don't know why I had the 8th in my head.
We ended up celebrating this past Friday. 4 people in my home group. One with 1 year, another gentleman with 5 years and 10 years, and then me, 15.
Nice.
So yeah, it's been quite a journey.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I had 2. One to make now. There's a 1 sitting out there in the yard on sticks drying right now.
Right.
Somebody else. And I've kind of backed off. I like hit the big numbers when I can, the 10, 5, 10, 15s and that kind of stuff. But everybody that's in my perimeter that I know that celebrates 1 year, I make a 1 year one because, man, that 1 year is
very important.
Just really not much more special than that first one.
Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of hurdles overcome in that first year.
I appreciate that, man. I got one that you made when I had 12 years.
Is it 12? I was trying to think of what it was.
I remember it. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a piece of time where I tried to make them for everybody, but and I did real good for a while.
Yeah.
And it was another way I just got to participate in my recovery, but it didn't become a thing. One time in my home group, there was 11 people celebrating. And, I know. It gets like, wow. And I did it. But after that, I was like, I'm going to have to set some boundaries around making these
make
things.
your parameter a little
and it really
tighter.
was, and it's been good for me, and it was good for me. I think about the way that, God has given me quite a few unique ways to participate in my recovery, and making those tokens is one of the ways that really helped me early on, because it allowed me to be a part of.
And that's extremely important. And that's one thing I've always stressed is, living in the program means giving back, means, we don't do it anymore, but, cleaning ashtrays and all that other kind of stuff, and I see some people withdrawing into themselves. So, making them part of the solution is absolutely important thing.
Yep. That getting out of myself by helping other people, whether if it's like setting out chairs and doing that kind of stuff, or grabbing up a guy and talking to him and staying in the loop.
Exactly.
I can't believe the amount of times that I've had some dumb little problem in my head, and then either I go to a meeting or somebody calls and they got a real problem, and my problem vanishes. That's one thing. Continuously here, my problems get downsized by hanging around.
I thought I was doing great. But
Well, you want to start off with that day, or what do you want to talk about?
Yeah, well, I maybe just update, from the last time we talked. That summer I was going through pretty nasty divorce. Pretty nasty. And it continued on till way after my accident. So, but that just compounded things, But
it's actually a recovery from divorce. It's a heart-wrenching, life-wrecking event.
At every turn, the rooms have been such a savior for me. That summer went pretty good. I retired from the federal service in October. Had a great 2 months. And then, we out riding with some friends and guys in the program, and got into an accident. It was my own stupidity, basically. When you look at it in the grand scheme of things,
really road conditions would have been the bigger factor, right?
Yes, road conditions. Yes,
because from what I understood, there's like marbles or gravel or something, and sand or some kind of loose material in the road.
It was actually water.
It was water,
and the curve was a little bit too steep for the water. Just one patch of water that was flowing, and tried to when I slid, I tried to recover from it, but ended up hitting a guardrail. But needless to say, my life changed immediately. it's like I was telling you before.
Yeah, we started talking a little bit, and I said, "Hold on, let me get the recorder going before
it's I hit the ground, and I hit pretty fast, pretty hard. I hit the elbow first, which crushed my left elbow. But I would at
hit the ground or the guardrail.
The ground. No, the
as you laid it. I'm guessing that you laid it over.
No, I actually hit the guardrail.
Oh, did you?
As I was trying to avoid, and it just snapped and threw me off. So it caught the guardrail. So well, I was going to get up. I just felt like, okay,
I fell down. I'm gonna get back up.
Yep. And of course, the EMS showed up, and but I guess what I've been contemplating how to show this or say this to you and to the audience, that without getting into a lot of detail, it just in a split second your life will change. You know, I've always been pretty powerful in the program. It's always been a part of me for the last, well, at that time, 13 years. So I was in intensive care for about 6 weeks, I think.
Did you call the EMS or did somebody else?
No, I don't remember any of that.
Somebody else
I don't. All I knew was I seen about 10 people around me, you know, so...
Because the way I heard it is that right after y'all split up, y'all were like out for a ride, and y'all were kind of back in town, and one guy going this way, one guy going that way, and
exactly.
It was time. And as you split up, and you wrecked shortly after
Tony,
that.
Tony split off. That's exactly what happened. You know, it was a beautiful day, you know, but in a split second, things can change. And
so more than likely, somebody saw it and called.
Yeah, there was people behind us. Oh yeah. EMS was there in 5 minutes.
Really?
Oh yeah. So, but I was going to say.
You'd said earlier you really didn't know how bad a shape you were in until you actually got to the.
And I, when I got into the ER, that's when I really realized I was in trouble. And you know what? I have to talk about. I have to. Call out certain people who came to me, and you know, and that's my partner Jamie. You know, we've been together for quite a while now. We're fighters. You know, we were in an emotionally charged situation with both of our divorces, so we are partners. We absolutely love each other, and I'm so happy, you know. And I remember she came in the room, and I just can't say enough about her because she took it all in stride. This devastating injury I had. When I woke up, I found out I had a crushed left elbow, a fractured femur, a broken femur, a fractured hip, a compound fracture of the right arm, and my back was broken in 3 places. Yeah. So
internal injuries? Any?
No. And
not that there need to be anything else. I just remember seeing. I mean, it might have been an early report where they said possible some. I just have a memory of some reports of some internal injuries too.
And God, again, you know, He threw me another challenge. Here you go.
Yeah, that's a lot of broken stuff.
You know, so this woman looked after me like an angel, and there was a lot of chaos while I was out. She took charge of all of it. My kids were called in because they're in their 30s. They all live on the West Coast, and my son was on training and couldn't make it. But I don't even remember her being there. Yeah. My daughter, my beautiful daughter, Christine, and so, but just that 10 months before that, to the day, her husband was killed in a motorcycle wreck.
Right.
So I think I remember sharing that the last time I was here.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So 10 months to the day. I get in the wreck, and this is what was told to me, is that I don't even remember her being there again, but she whispered in my ear that, Dad, I just lost a husband. I don't need to lose you. Yeah. That's what was told to me. So, pretty powerful.
Yeah, very powerful.
And she was there for a number of days, but I don't remember it.
Don't remember it, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No. And this is 18 months, 19 months out now. It was a, what do you call that experience where you die and come back? And whatever it's called.
Yeah, I was just saying, there's some phrase they use for that. Near-death experience.
Yes, exactly. So,
because I would think that between trauma to you, our body has a way of shutting down.
From what I understand, I coded.
I'm sure they were medding you up pretty good too. So.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And that's going to be part of what I want to talk about. But I coded twice, from what I understand.
Oh, wow.
MRSA took over, infections real bad, got into my heart. Oh. I was really close to getting open heart surgery, real close. But they managed to heal it up by antibiotics, a lot of powerful antibiotics. Again, I don't remember any of this.
Yeah.
So, and that MRSA has caused 3 other surgeries.
Future complications. It just doesn't go away, right?
No.
It just kind of hibernates.
Yeah. I went through, me and Jamie, we added it up, 33 hours of surgery.
Mama.
And 7 or 8 visits, 33 hours. So, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to come here. The major reason is that you can live through this, and as devastating as it was, one of the first things that come into my head was they're going to give me a lot of good drugs.
Yeah, I would too.
And it's been on the back of my mind for a long time. Pain management and being an alcoholic.
Right.
All the doctors knew, but at the height, at the rate of my injuries, there was no way.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely no way.
No way to not.
Yes.
Yeah, and I really don't believe that I've given up the right to pain relief.
But in the back of my mind, being the alcoholic that I am, I went,
golden ticket.
A golden ticket. That's a very good word for it. and there's a lot of controversy in the rooms about this.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of sticking my neck out, I think. God gave me a wonderful sponsor who just happens to be a physical therapist.
Wow. How about that?
I mean, who does that?
Yeah.
Who does that?
Yeah.
And Jim, I call him out, Jim, my sponsor, was there almost every day he could be there. He knew exactly what I was going through.
Yeah.
So he was always 2 steps ahead of me about what I was going to face.
Yeah.
And I called him one time. Did I do this correctly? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But being in the rooms kept me on the path that I needed to be, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
You know.
We can veer way off, this whole, like I
The-
say a
you
lot of
know,
times that this
yeah.
whole thing is a series of course corrections.
And
If
I
it
was
keeps
in,
me off from going over the rail to bad for a bad pun, then
and I called him. I was in so much pain. I was in tears. And it was like 10 or 11 o'clock at night. And I said, I can't take this. I can't take this pain, and I'm taking these medications. So I took a lot of them.
so you tried not to?
I tried not to.
God,
Absolutely.
I mean, there
Absolutely.
are some things where it's just, you're not going to, you almost can't, I don't know that you can survive it hardly without some relief. You hit a pain threshold that.
Exactly. And the importance of being in these rooms is that, I alcohol brought me here. Alcohol made me start going into the Jeff Token Club in 2006, 16, and 2006, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
2006.
My math are going in it.
No, that's right. If I didn't have what I have before this accident, yeah, I absolutely would not. I would, the first 6 weeks, I'd wake up, I'd be somewhat coherent. I'd see 3 people. I'd go back to sleep. I guess I would just pass right back out, open up, and open my eyes, and there'd be 8 people there. Close my eyes, open up, there's 12 people there. All from the rooms.
Yeah.
And I there's only 2 or 3 people that I remember.
Right.
And I've said it in the rooms, if you came to see me, thank you. Thank you so much. And sure enough, 2 or 3 people come, I was there.
Yeah.
A beautiful, beautiful lady, Melanie. And I have to talk. I woke up and she was right over me, talking to me. And she is such a beautiful woman, because I was in so much pain, and she was crying. And I said, "What are you crying about?" She says, I don't remember the exact words she was saying, but it was at the tone of everything's going to be okay. And we just sat there and cried and prayed. And that was so, so powerful. And she was she was leaning over me, and so half her body was on me, half her body wasn't. But I needed that touch, that human touch, so badly. I'll never forget that.
But I believe we help each other in that regard, that we can lift, share pain, whether if it's actual physical pain or if it's emotional pain, to have somebody close to you, you actually get to share it. I know a period of time in my life where it was anger, and my friends helped me. They were madder than I was about this situation.
Yeah.
And because they were so mad, it's like I didn't have to be as mad, and I could actually function in the capacity that I needed to be functioning in, because they took my anger.
Yeah.
And I think pain can be the same way when we have compassion and share that.
And it was so, that was truly a God thing to me.
Yeah.
It's like she was my angel at that moment, at that time. And I connected with her on a level that I've never experienced. Mm-hmm. To me, it was almost heavenly, and
miracles.
And that's when Joe R. He'd be in there almost every day, and I guess the doctors were telling all of them to talk to me and wake me up, and the kind of thing.
Engage you.
Yeah, and I woke up when his face was right over me. You're a fucking miracle, man. You're a fucking miracle, man. He must have said that 1,000 times. It's like, shut up. Then they'd all start laughing because they got me to talk.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I guess they were, the group of marks. They were all there picking at my toes and, trying to get me to wake up.
Yeah.
And it was all them talking to me that,
Kind of like when somebody is injured like that, you'll hear, maybe it's just movie stuff, but maybe not. Don't stay with me, to keep some consciousness going.
That's what the ambulance guys were doing that, because I was, I didn't. It started to set in when I was in that ambulance, but then again, like I said, I knew I was in trouble when they rolled me into that ER.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it works. It does work. And Melanie connected with me that day. It was, and then through all this, my beautiful, beautiful partner, Jamie, my sponsor was the one that coined it. He said, Mark, she just took this in stride. Like it was nothing. I never saw her cry. I never saw her get emotionally upset because of these injuries. Even though she put on a calm and demeanor that is unmatched in any human being I've ever met.
Wow.
I mean,
it's interesting that story play again too. That somebody is a rock in your life. Something like an
she
anchor
is the one.
Where you can.
Oh yeah, she brought me from the depths of hell. When I got out of the hospital, she had to make arrangements to get a hospital bed in the house.
Yeah.
Because that's how immobile I was. She took care of that, plus trying to work a full-time job. Plus, my grandson was living with me at the time.
Oh, really?
So she was taking care of my grandson. And this beautiful woman, I can't express enough my gratitude and my love for her. It's, she's truly one of a kind. And, Jamie, I love you. Thank you. And right now, I'm at the point where, I went from immobile to a wheelchair, from a wheelchair to a walker. So I've climbed that ladder, and all the while my sponsor's been there.
Yeah.
And he told me when I was in tears, and he said, "You do not deserve to be in so much pain. Do what you have to do." And that was another sign that he was watching over me.
Yep.
And all of you people were watching over me. And I knew I was going to get through it at that time. I since about, I don't know, let's see, this time last year, I knew I had turned the corner, because therapy was starting to work. And I get these, they were, Brian, I punch him sometimes. Right when I got home, knock on my door and there's 5 people. Come on, we're going to have a meeting. I don't want you here. Go away.
Yeah.
I'll sit down. Everybody start over. Come on, let's go. And that was, we had We had 2 or 3 of those. I can't remember.
Yeah, that's a fantastic thing.
You know, and there was a little group of people there that, and Susan, I love you, Susan. You know, she put up a little website that had my condition, and you know, and she updated it every day.
Yep, I remember that.
Yeah, so
she posted on Facebook and
yeah,
to it.
yeah, and just all you wonderful people, man.
There certainly was a lot of prayer warriors out there. For sure. And well, that is a beautiful thing about this program, that you don't, like you think about when you're just struggling to get sober, you don't realize the whole package that comes with this thing.
Absolutely. You know, and it's such a gift to have if you open your heart and realize that you have, and that's that first step of getting sober, like you just said, but getting that network of friends.
Yep.
And of course, we're just like any other, we're human. We have our cliques. Just say what it is. We all have there's certain groups.
Yep.
And I go across the river, and I want to make it back there on Tuesday nights.
I was thinking about like those, we talk about that ripple effect, and you've got these rings around you, and
absolutely.
You got a close ring, hopefully.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And then there's another ring.
Sure.
And there's another ring.
And that's a good way to put it.
It's not really a level thing, but you can only be that close to so many people.
Yep.
You only have room in your life to be close to
everybody's
a
lifestyle's different. Where everybody's lifestyle different, and I see a lot of young people come in the rooms and just, of course, they're scared to death.
Yeah.
And that failure's not a good word for it, but that inability to open up your heart and take direction, and learn to trust people again, because we all been through it. Yeah. I don't give a shit what you've been through. There's somebody in that room that's been through something worse.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, our self-esteem is such in the hole when we get here.
Yeah,
and, we almost can't look people in the eyes, and let alone like cultivate a friendship.
Right.
We're just not ready for it. That's what the people that's got some time under their belt. That's kind of like the way I feel my job is to say, hey, and keep on throwing the rope around them and pull them in. Now, if they don't want to come, I ain't gonna make you.
Right.
It ain't gonna be from a lack of
Right.
effort.
And me and Jamie have a friend that is in the same. God bless her. We've pointed her so many different times, but it's only you can do it.
Yeah.
And they keep coming back.
Right. Yep.
And then I can, I guess this was a blessing too, but I got injured right before COVID, started, and people were there to visit me, and
yeah,
but not too long after that, you can't even do that now.
Good point. Yeah.
And so I had that circle of everybody was there, but I can remember when I got out, because everything started to shut down, and everybody was stuck at home, and I was in a wheelchair looking out the window in the subdivision. And there go one of them liquor barn vans. Zoom. And next 5 minutes later, zoom. You're zooming right by you, And then we got into the Zoom calls. And I would sit there and, how many people have we lost?
Yeah.
How many people have we lost that are never going to come back? And it was so easy.
Yep.
Get online and call and stick your hand out the door.
Yep.
But you have to look at it too as how many did we gain?
Yeah. It was a tough time to get sober. I know that. I know the newcomers coming in without that, and it goes to say like that contact you were talking about, that proximity of another human being thing.
Yep.
That's part of what we got here too.
Yeah.
And you had it a whole, at that like extreme high level. But I think not having that and having to just be doing meetings through Zoom, you really miss a connection there. That
and there was
it's better than nothing, but
it took a while for Zoom to get started up.
Yeah.
A month and a half, maybe 2 months.
Popular for everybody.
Yeah. But it that again, that circle of friends that I had, carried me through that.
It's already established.
Yeah. And we've, a lot of newcomers have been coming in. I have two sponsees, and they have been so patient with me. I guess they're glad 'cause I'm not having to drug them through steps. But they've stuck with me, and it's Todd and Chris, and also, I wanted to mention too that I belong to veterans groups, part of Veterans Court here in Clark County, so I give my time when I can.
Yeah.
And that's where I have pushed most of my resources, I guess, or where I want to help.
Right. Yeah.
So it's been tough. We lost one last week to COVID.
Oh, really?
Yeah. 32 years old.
Wow.
Terrible. So we got to deal with that. But I don't think it's going to last 2 hours, but I just have to emphasize that stay with your, keep coming back, man. Don't. I have no idea. I would not be alive today if it wasn't for my friends in the support group.
Yep. Yep.
And I don't think being on the outside, I don't think that would have happened.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I didn't have anywhere near the level of the friendships I have before. I thought I did.
Yeah.
But but it wasn't
Right.
the true, sincere thing that's going on here.
And that may be an exaggeration for people that are listening. Of course, you got friends and family.
Yeah.
But
I didn't have them like I have them now.
No.
Nowhere.
No.
Nowhere near.
Nope.
Not the amount of people that are truly, sincerely, really would help me,
and just dedicated to staying sober.
Yeah.
No matter
mission.
No matter how hard it is. We've had people that lose children.
Yep.
I lost a son-in-law. I know 3 or 4 people that have lost their kids, to this disease, and it's tough. God damn, this is not easy.
It's not.
It's
a fight for your life.
But taking a drink is not going to solve it.
Right.
And now I have, on the pain management front for me, I was not allowed to go into pain management, an actual program of it, because I had so many follow-on surgeries. The doctors would not let me, which made sense. And I just started about 2 weeks ago. No, I'll take that back. About a month and a half ago. I started on a dedicated pain management program. I still am under close. I need to be under close supervision, and I stick to that.
Yeah. That's the thing. We can still have pain management, but it's got to be looked at from a.
When you have, yes, you have to look at this. It's going to save your life. On another level.
Yeah.
So,
on another level.
Yeah. So it becomes two separate worlds all of a sudden for me. My fear of taking a drink is still greater than what I have now. And I thank God for that.
Yeah.
That I have that. Thank God. I'm blessed to know that I am a stone cold piece of shit alcoholic. That's 15 years on,
That's the other thing we hear around here,
I'm
you
no
stay
better.
In the program, and you see that people still pick up with 20 years of sobriety,
Absolutely.
And you're never,
but
you're
come
never
back.
out of the gate,
Yeah, but come back.
Come back, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, it's okay. Thank God I haven't. It's a miracle that I have not taken a drink. Absolutely, because it would have been so just like that. That's simple.
Yep, it would be.
And I use the term your arm's length. Stick your arm out. That's how far I am from a drink.
Yeah, we had to keep
And
our.
I've got these wonderful people, it's just, it's amazing, man. I still got a ways to go. Probably got another surgery coming up in November. My left arm is not healing properly, so. I'm definitely afraid of the infection.
Yeah,
I was on antibiotic port
really?
directly into my heart for like 9 months.
Wow.
Yeah, because that's how badly that MRSA ate me up.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I've always heard a few things. One of the things that I heard about pain medicine and that is that you don't heal as well under the stress of pain than you do if you get some pain relief. That
Right.
you'll heal better.
Right.
If there's a thing that because your body is kicking off all these cortisones or something, if you're under that,
Exactly.
and it slows the healing. So pain medication is not just to make me feel better.
No,
There's actually
it's not.
some processes in our body that will allow us to heal
Yeah.
better if we have some pain relief.
At this point in my recovery, from the physical injuries, if I do stop taking them, I'm practically immobile.
Yeah.
So,
You have to have the function.
in the function, exactly. And physical therapy has helped. I haven't been in it as much lately, but I just, my life has turned. We sold our house, bought another one. I stay as busy as I can. I'm raising 3 puppy dogs, and so I have a lot to do.
That'll give you something to do.
Yeah. Me and Jamie, we are a whirlwind. We're always doing something. We always have a project going. She makes it her business to keep me busy.
Yeah.
And because she knows that, it's important that I stay active, because if you don't.
Yeah, the depression and that, we got to be, and I don't know, maybe
Absolutely.
some people aren't that way, but
I suffered from so much depression.
like I joke around it, my drug of choice in recovery is busyness. And I have to watch that, but I need to keep a certain level of productivity in my heart,
You
or
have
else
to.
I'm not,
Yep.
it starts affecting my self-esteem, frankly.
Yeah, and I'm not, exactly, and if you don't stay busy, it's, for this alcoholic, it can get very chaotic.
Yeah, get too
And
dark.
Yeah, so I think that's all I got.
Yeah,
brother.
I got some questions though.
Sure.
And I had to, some of them wheeled around, but I didn't want to interrupt you. It might take me a little bit of jaw jacking for them to come back up and float to the top. Again, back with the pain medication, did you feel we talk about this phenomenon of craving, and I know that I've had that with alcohol and the pills, that once I get some in me, once it's been introduced into my system, there's a craving that kicks off. That today I actually know what it is. Before I came to AA, I didn't know what that was that made me want the second beer and the third beer and the fourth pill and all that. Did you recognize anything like that, where kind of like it getting some grip in you, like it's trying to get you?
Thank you for asking that question. That is absolutely yes. And as I began to know my own pain level, I adjusted according to that, because, but that phenomenon of craving, absolutely. I'm glad you asked that, and having that group around you, that in a wonderful sponsor, and a kick-ass partner, Jamie, that is hyper vigilant of how I'm recovering. And she will, that's a great question.
I don't want to, I'm a little careful. I don't want to overstep anything either here.
No, you're fine.
But do you manage them, or do somebody manage them for you?
I manage them now. But I'm accountable.
Yeah.
I'm accountable.
Yeah. We've got people holding you accountable, and
they're right there in the open, and she'll go in and count them, and
that's the kind of
absolutely.
thing that and that's the way I was taught too. At least I haven't been through one of those, and it's one of my worst fears is to
Yeah.
be hurt, because pain
Right.
medication was ultimately my bottom. That was
Correct.
what took me down
Correct.
at the end. It wasn't actually I was a drunk alcoholic, but it was the pills that took me to the floor, to the ground floor.
And that's, at first the pain was so extreme. I was taking them constantly. Didn't know if I was taking one every 3 hours or one every 5 hours. The pain was so great that sometimes I'd have to take more.
Yeah.
But now that the process has moved along, I can delineate, God, I take one in the morning and take one now I take one in the late afternoon and one before I go to bed. But you're right, that craving, it can get you.
Because I think it's key to have some accountability, because
Yes.
I don't trust myself enough.
And let's say they're opioids. They are addictive. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yep. Yep. Like I said,
Have I done it? Have I done it correctly? Hell no. But I recognize it.
Yeah.
Now today I recognize it because of you, because of everybody in the rooms, and me still being teachable.
Right. Yeah.
So I still go to 4 or 5 meetings a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crucial in my life too.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I see some people that in Zoom, the COVID era, I watched a lot of people use that for an excuse to stop going to meetings.
Yep.
And I think that I have this little thing I say about like this, and I learned it from somebody else, but it just made sense to me that this disease that we have is like a parasite, and it hijacks my operating system. So I can't trust my own thinking. That's why I got to stay
Correct.
plugged into people
Correct.
all the time. So the way I like that disease looked for that opportunity and said, all right, this is good. This is a good excuse not to go to meetings anymore. We can start.
Yeah.
We can start just nudging you out of the herd and get you over here by yourself, where
Mm-hmm.
where it's dangerous territory.
Yeah.
And I watched quite a few people do it. I kind of went, they say, I don't like Zoom meetings. I'm like, I don't give a fuck what you like.
Yeah.
This ain't necessarily for what I like.
Yeah. But you noticed though too, when the Zooms started first coming up, they were sparse,
Mm-hmm.
and then it gained in popularity pretty
Yep.
pretty quickly. And that's for us that have to. I mean, this has to be a part of
It has
my
to be a
life.
priority.
I've seen maybe 1 or 2 newcomers in there.
Yeah.
At the most.
Yeah. I would think, there's some things like I think might be easier for a newcomer to come into a Zoom meeting, but it's harder to keep them. You know what I mean?
Correct. Yeah.
Because there's some energy that goes on. I like to brag about my home group. If you come in and hang around my home group of men, you're going to feel something. You're going to feel something in you. And I watch it affect people differently. I watch people affect people where they're like ready to run off.
Right.
Because the disease has got them, and the disease
Yeah.
is saying, if you hang around with these guys, I'm screwed. So let's get out of here. I love to watch it. There's a regular occurrence, and I've seen it happen where a guy goes, he's sitting in a meeting. I can tell he's coming out of his skin. He does not want to be here. And then he may even ask somebody where the restroom is at. And then poof,
God.
we don't see it again, but that if you do want it, you'll feel something that feels attractive when you're hanging around with my guys. And I'm sure your guys are the same way. I initially got it hanging around those guys.
Right. Right.
And but the Zoom doesn't, it's still there, but it's not there at that level where you want to.
It doesn't replace that human interaction.
Yeah, right.
Face to face.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But thank God it was there, and who'd have thought that was going to be, because I was, I got my panties in a wad in the beginning too. I said, I was like, it's stupid, because I was doing this Mankind project when COVID hit, and they were the first ones to go, before my AA went virtual,
Right.
Mankind said, hey, we're going to call off the face-to-face meetings.
Right.
And we're just going to start doing this virtual. And I was like, well, that's a bunch of crap.
I know it.
You know, and I got my panties in a wad and all
Yeah,
that. And then it
yeah.
was like 2 weeks later, AA said, okay, we're going this way. And I was like, well, now I got to make a life-saving decision.
It made
I
it a
wasn't-
lot.
I wasn't living on Mankind.
Yeah.
I'm living on AA.
It made it a lot easier when you know, the head office got on board with it. And
Yeah.
Made it a lot easier.
Yeah.
So
And then I also kind of had to make some amends to Mankind because I showed my ass there, and I was like, y'all actually were ahead of the curve.
I appreciate you asking me that question. That's
Because that's the whole deal, you know. I think you end up with so many preconceptions, you know. Some things that I like. One of my favorite speakers, Scott Lee, says, "What I think I know for certain ain't true." And we come in here, you know. One of the big ones when we first get here is I'm never going to have fun again.
Yeah.
You know, you come into rooms and you think,
Yeah.
the fun is over.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a lie.
Yeah.
Because the fun's just beginning. Because I have way more fun today than I ever did. And one of the other ones is, in this case here, is I've given up my right to pain relief. If everything ever happens to me, I got to gut through it. And I know some
You
guys
said
do
that
some
in
of
that
that
text,
stuff.
yeah, and that made me stand up and think about that when we were texting back and forth. Yeah, biggest fear. And
you know, 'cause I know some guys
but
that
that
won't-
alcoholic in my mind was going,
Yeah, me too. I guess it was, you know, it was September 19, so it was since you were here. I woke up one morning with, I woke up and I always just sit up in bed and do my prayer and meditation. I don't even leave the bed if I don't have to pee. Sometimes I get up and pee and can come back. But that particular morning I got up and I hadn't really moved yet. And my kids had to be, I was taking them to school. They were still, my son's driving now, so I've taken a lot of that off. But, and as I pivoted on my ass to take my legs off the bed and get ready to get up, a pain shot from my lower back down my left leg that did, that hit a threshold to where I didn't think I was going to be able to take it anymore. I mean, I laid there and I just thought it was like kind of felt like a cramp at first. I
Right.
thought it was going to come and pass,
Right.
and it just kept on getting more and more and more intense. I was in my bedroom crying over the pain by myself. And I ended up crawling into my daughter's bedroom, telling her to wake up my dad because he's going to have to take you all to school. I can't do anything. And I laid there. I went back in my bed and laid there while this thing kept on feeling like the intensity of it was getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And had no idea what to do. I ended up calling my ex-wife. She's a nurse. And trust her judgment. And she came over right away, you know. And but I remember thinking, I can't take any more of this. This is hitting a level that I can't
Yes.
take it. I'm gonna pass out. That's actually when I made the phone call to somebody. I thought I was gonna pass out.
And I have passed out because of severe,
And
severe
I thought,
pain.
you know, I need to call somebody for some help before I pass out, or else
Right.
nobody's even going to know I'm, you know. And so I did that, and my Angie said to me on the way she come here, and she said something. She said, "Well, I think we need to take you to the emergency room." And I said, "I think so too."
Yeah.
And on the way over there, she said, "What if they want to give you pain medication?" And I said, "I will eat every fucking one they give me.
Yeah.
Give it to me. I don't care." You know, went out the window. All
Right.
fear of
And
that was gone. Give me a bucket of them because I was hurting so bad that it didn't really matter to me. I said, you know, what's crazy is I sat down they got me in there. I was sitting in the emergency room in the waiting area crying. Now, I think they got me a priority because they could see how bad a shape I was in. And soon as they set me on the examination table, I mean, instantly, the instant they set me and scooted me up on that bed in the ER room, my leg just shot to numb. And it went completely numb.
Yeah.
Now, I was relieved at one level, but the disease in me knew that I wasn't in pain no more, and it was almost like a goddamn, you know, I'm not going to, you know, I started thinking, you know, I'm going to get some pain medication here in a little bit. It's going to be a freebie. And I don't really think of that. I'm thinking of that. I'm talking that in the rearview mirror, right? Because I'm not really thinking that at the time. I'm not processing any of that. I'm processing it after the fact and going, huh. It already was tapping me on the shoulder and was happy about me getting some of that. And then when my pain just disappeared, my left leg is still numb. my left foot specifically and down my calf.
Right.
The feeling came back into my thighs, and I can feel that. But like even to the touch, it's numb to the touch.
Even now?
Right now, 2 years later.
Wow.
September. It was September 8th.
Wow.
2 years later, my left leg is still numb, and I still get these pains, and I still get this little hitch in my back, and it's nothing like I need medication for. But at the time, that day, I needed some relief somehow or another because I was hitting some threshold that I didn't know how to handle.
I definitely learned the 10 steps of the pain threshold. I know them by heart now.
Yeah.
You know,
what's your pain level? That thing.
oh yeah, they say what's your pain level? Yeah, and you're like, what's a 12? Well, it only goes to 10.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, the old addict in me used to play that game. You know.
But I definitely know what a 10 is. So.
Because you wrestle with pain medication in your recovery too, right?
Pardon?
You wrestle with pain medication through your recovery from alcohol too.
Yes, absolutely.
Is that were you taking pain medication when you made it to AA?
Good question. When I had prior neck surgeries, so yeah, but I was able. It wasn't anything that
Didn't carry you away.
No. And this came. And this, this accident came very close to carrying me away, but without this in this program, again, it's critical. It's critical.
Yeah.
So,
there's
there's going to be naysayers, that say, oh, you need to go get a white chip.
Yeah.
And I'll
and
I'll throw that out there right now, to thine own self be true.
I was getting ready to say the same statement.
And I have been open and out and up front with my sponsor and my close friends. And days that I'm just not, the barely walk thing really comes to me. So, sometimes I still use a cane. So just being honest, getting the correct resources, getting the right resources. I've been through 10, 15 doctors, and the medical system, one doctor works on you. They can't give you anything. They can give you something for pain, but only for 90 days. I began to find out all of these, and then I said, wait a minute, I have to go to one central location to get this. So I changed it. It's been a journey.
Yeah, I bet. There's the whole addict end of it is kind of messed up the thing in a way, but then again, it also is protecting people from getting
sure. I get it, and my doctors say I'm going to have chronic pain for the rest of my life. Now, how that's going to play out, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. But
I've seen too many miracles to just, I can accept that for what you just told me, but I'm not going to necessarily accept that for good because I've seen other miracles happen in the world. And I don't know, maybe not. What I think I know for certain ain't true.
Yeah, but I know I'm not going to pick up a drink.
Right.
And I continue to take my meds, as prescribed. But it has been a battle. Up front, So.
Yeah, the alcohol never really. It's got that emotional pain relief thing that makes me not give a fuck anymore. I remember being hurt. Now, you put alcohol and opiates together. That's my favorite combination.
Sure,
and I got to a point where I couldn't have one without the other.
There's so many of us out there.
Yeah,
so many of us.
Because I do just like the big book says about a revulsion come up in the guy when he thought about drinking, and you I can't remember exactly, but jerk away from it like from a hot flame, and alcohol is that way for me today, but I don't have the same kind of thing in my head about other things. There's some other, like the pain pills my mind does not revulse from thinking about having pain medication. When somebody talks about drinking, I get a little sour in my stomach, like, oh,
yeah, exactly.
And but I don't have that with the pain medication. It's still lingering in there, like it's still got some hooks in me, that it's still, tapping me on the shoulder saying,
right.
Dan, It's not like it's chronic, but like I'm thinking about it all the time. But I don't have that sour stomach that I have about alcohol. Alcohol just is like, okay, I don't think I could drink if I wanted to.
I could.
That's the kind of saying thing. I mean, like it doesn't have an allure anymore.
No, it doesn't. No, I
but the pain medication still does have some level of allure.
And putting alcohol on top of that is
the next thing.
It's devastating.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would.
And that's what I know is that once I stick my toe in one thing.
I understand what you're getting at. Yeah, I couldn't go back there. Yeah. I couldn't do that.
But once I stuck my toe in the pain medication, then I think that might leave. And I feel, hey, drink doesn't sound too bad. Like when Big Jim says, the problem with smoking a little pot is it makes me thirsty.
Yeah, right.
And I've seen that way too many times with people go.
Yeah, Jim calls them the funny cigarettes, yeah.
Where people play with something that's not their favorite. It's not their drug of choice,
Right.
Like I actually am in around to some people here lately for whatever reason that seem to think the marijuana is not a big issue. They're going to get ready to legalize it and all that. And I never had a problem with pot. But what my experience is by watching people is that no matter what we go back to,
right,
we will end up circling back to our drug of choice sooner or later.
Which will end up killing you.
Yeah.
Yes, which will end up killing you. Yeah. Absolutely.
That's a little bit like the way I think about the pills is that I would be worried that's going to open up a gate that I can't close again.
Right. You remember I was telling you that before we started this that Jamie had just counted it up, and it was like last month. We were sitting outside drinking coffee, and she said, we got 33 hours of surgery racked up with you.
Wow.
And she kind of went over it, and that enormity of that just kind of like hit me in the face. Yeah, 33 hours of surgery, and I think it's been 8 surgeries in 33 hours. And I probably got one more go up, but it should be a breeze, kind of like an adjustment.
Are you doing this through the VA or is this?
In conjunction with VA.
In conjunction with.
Yeah, because I'm a disabled vet.
Right.
And again, God put, they put the VA in my life. They helped me out a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a civilian specialist, and then go to the VA, and so.
Yeah, it's that same thing. That little saying about the rearview mirror, kind of like the fact that your sponsor is a physical therapist. Kind of like that didn't make didn't really matter a while back. Who cares? And then you go look in your rearview mirror and look what God did.
Yeah. Yeah,
and the same thing with the VA stuff.
And so
if I let him, he'll pave my path. I may not know why today, and I may not know why I'm stepping on that particular stepping stone today, and why this and this here tomorrow. But usually, if I just continue to walk the direction he's pointing, I'll figure out why someday.
And the way ahead for me now is just, I think November I'll have this other surgery, have this correction, and then I'll start on in some alternative treatments, whether that be aquatics or, Jim has a whole plethora of ideas for me, and plus, then gradually going off the pain medication. I'm ready to get rid of them, but I just don't know when.
Yeah.
I've still got some back issues, but again, nothing like I was 19 months ago, brother.
Yeah. Let me ask you another question. How do you feel about motorcycles today?
I can't wait to get back on one.
Really?
But I won't.
Ah.
I'm done. I'm 63 years old, and I got grandkids, and I got.
I kind of like that. When people say, "I know I
miss them. I miss them, but and that's another thing the program did for me. I was able to let it go, without. I had my fun. I rode for 30 years. I always wore a helmet. I always, took every safety measure I could. I did what I could to stay safe, And God threw this big challenge on me. And I think he was telling me, time to quit writing.
You'll hear in the rooms one of them little statements. We got a million of them, right? But the one that says, I know I got another drunk in me, but I don't know if I have another sober.
Yes.
So
true. Another recovery. Yeah.
Same thing about the motorcycle.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey,
man, I could go do it, but I don't know that I could recover again.
I would have, and I this second life that I've been given, it hasn't come with. I've had so much fear.
I bet.
The depths of my depression, shortly after the accident, and I was there by myself a lot because my partner, Jamie had to work. It's been that fear. I wouldn't leave the house for a month. After I got better where I could drive, I still didn't want to. I was scared to start up my car and go down the road, waiting for that shoe to drop.
Yeah.
So that fear, I've been to a couple of psychiatrists, therapists about that. And,
So there's a fear of like the road and
a fear of everything.
Yeah. Because I can think, my head is telling me, like, I can imagine, like, when it first happened, and again, this is just all supposition on my end because I had not been there. But thinking would be a big, huge fear of that. I'm never going to be able to do shit again.
Absolutely.
I'm a cripple.
Absolutely.
And now I'm going to be laying in a damn bed the rest of my life. And that'd be horrible. I could send that into depression, and then,
absolutely.
I didn't really.
Absolutely.
And then
I forced myself to get out and go to Kroger. I force myself sometimes to go to a meeting. I still deal with it, but it gets a lot easier.
Yeah.
It gets a lot easier that I get more mobile. But, sitting at a stoplight and getting rear-ended or walking down the street and comet drops on you. It began to get that crazy.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's
a problem in my brain, and then it starts getting fertilized,
and sharing that at the meetings, and just sharing what's on my mind at that time has been critical.
Yeah, you have to uncork that bottle.
Yes, and with traumatic injuries, yeah, you and these rooms have saved my life, and I can contribute that. Jamie keeps saying, well, it's your strength, but I wouldn't have that strength without you guys. So I wouldn't have the strength that I have without this program.
Yeah. First word and the first step.
Yeah.
Don't realize, just like I said earlier, you don't realize the total package that comes with this, because I can echo the same sentiment. I know there's a particular thing when my daughter got touched, there's no way I would have been able to make that through there by myself.
Sure.
No fucking way.
Yeah.
And I credit 100% the fellowship in my support group.
I have no problem
me through that.
I got no problem with you carrying me through a situation.
Yeah, that's another thing. We have to learn to let people too. You got to actually learn to be helped.
Yep.
And that's like what we first start doing when we get here. It's kind of when we say we practice these principles in all our affairs. As time goes by, that's making more sense to me. When I first got here, I didn't know what that really meant.
Yeah.
And some of that is at some point I allowed a man to help me. Allowed a guy, my sponsor, to help me by taking me through the steps and giving me some guidance in there. And what I was doing was beginning to learn to practice to receive help.
Sure.
Because we're all that way, but I think men are that way more so. Is that we don't ask. It's the same old cliche about we don't ask for directions. I'll find it.
Yeah, like whatever.
We're not gonna pull over to the gas station and ask for direction. What kind of crazy thought is that? And that carries into other places in our lives. But this fellowship has taught me how to accept help today. Taught me how to receive gifts.
Yeah.
Was another thing I had trouble doing, and today I can receive a gift from somebody and do it with gratitude and a whole bunch of little.
Yeah.
Practicing receiving help.
Right. Yeah. God has been so good to me.
A minute ago, I looked over there and I saw some guy walk by my backyard in a red shirt, and I realized my uncle was walking around. I don't know if it kind of looks dark out here. I saw him look this way, but he didn't come. He's supposed to. He goes down to our camp with us all the time, and he uses it just probably as much as I do. He loves the squirrel hunt.
Yeah.
He's down there doing that. Well, our little John Deere tractor was acting up, and he said, "Would it be easier if I brought it to your house?" And so he's got a little trailer, and he brought it over here so I can work on it. It's a hell of a lot easier to work on things here than it is down there.
Sure.
And I fixed it and called him the other day and told him that he could take it back whenever he wanted to, but it looks like I don't know if that was why he was here or not, but I hadn't seen him walk by in a little while. Dad sometimes comes out and he's on it. He understands, and I tell him that I'm doing a podcast, and I tell him, he said, "You need to ask me something. You can come out here and do it. It ain't that sterile of an environment. You need something. Just come open the door and ask about it. And I'll tell you if I can do it right now or not."
Well, I appreciate you inviting me.
Well, I was really glad it came up, because I've been curious about that. And I think, again, as I say this, and I mean, with all my heart, that is us telling our stories is how other people get the power, how they get the ability to know that they can make it through too. And
you can do this, stay in the rooms. There's going to be a lot of challenges in our lives, and if I can walk through this, we're not going to do it perfect. Don't worry about I don't want to say dumb shit. None of it is, but stay focused on your friends, your sponsor, going to meetings. You ain't got to say nothing, or you say something if you want. You know how it is. We're in a pissed off mood. I don't want to hear nobody, or I don't. I want to sit here and be calm and listen,
Yep.
And so
it doesn't always take words. One of the things I do with guys is I assign them people to call, especially ones that don't, you can tell that they're just not real reach out kind of thing. And one has a, "Hey man, here's a couple numbers. Call some of these guys."
Yeah.
It's easy when I go down to camp for a weekend and I got somebody new who's supposed to call me every day. I always say, I'll use that little window for them to start exercising their reach out muscle, but start building that fellowship around you. So that, because it's hard to do. And if somebody doesn't tell me, I won't. Like somebody say, "Well, I don't know what to say to them." I said, "Just tell them your sponsor told you to call, and so I'm doing that, and they will handle the rest."
Awesome.
It's one thing that we get into. There's no shortage of words. Well, I appreciate you coming in, man, and it is valuable. Everybody's story is so valuable, and these kind of stories have a level of value above, because, like I said, this is I don't know what the list is, but there's always this list of things that we think we can't survive.
Yeah.
There's one I've heard people talking about, like thinking that certain things will come up in their life, and they've already made the list that if this happens to me, I'll drink again.
Yeah.
And but the fact of the matter is you don't have to.
And I had that awe moment when I knew I was going to get pain medication. Even though I was in so much pain, I was passing out. But drinking would have been okay for me.
Yeah.
At that point.
That's what I mean about that parasitic. It's like I told somebody the other day. I was like, it's like there's a cord coming out of your ass, and somebody else has got to hold the joystick, and the disease is over there, turning on that little joystick to steer you around. And you really, is the crux of us being powerless against it, because you don't have to beat yourself up because you feel like that. You just have to recognize it and talk about it.
It's okay to make mistakes.
Yeah,
it really is. But get back on the bandwagon, man.
Yeah. And,
so,
you brought up one more thing. We'll get done here in a second. But one of the things that somebody said not too awful long ago is that here we don't shoot our wounded. And because that's when you've done something and you come back, it's hard.
Yeah.
But this is the one place where you don't get beat up for making a mistake.
Yeah. Yeah.
Matter of fact, what happens in my experience is you get supported. that we support you while you recover from your mistake and help you climb back up out of that.
Yeah. Gotcha. And it's gonna definitely gonna change your life. So again, thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Well, there's two things I close every time with, and I'll just keep on doing it. As I said before, a couple of the miracles of this program is that I've learned that when something's working, I'll keep doing it. And when it stops working, I'll stop. And I didn't always know that. There was times in my life when it wasn't working, I just tried harder. If you're not having a blast in your recovery, it's your own damn fault. And thank you all for allowing Mark and I to participate in our recoveries in this way today.
Thanks again, Dan.
Yeah, thank you all. Peace out.